All 100 of us. You've got friends here.
你知不知道？你在不在？
我不知道。Okay, thanks guys for joining this workshop, designing the crypto conference. Okay, I put an introduction here of Bu Zhi DAO. If anyone is not in Bu Zhi DAO yet, it's interested in joining, just let us know. A little bit about me. I'm Andy, and I've mini babies. I have two kids, 7 and 3, and then I'm also co-founder from X Avenue. That's a Web3 fashion and e-commerce platform. And I also co-founded Sheliff, which is a premium coffee brand. Co-founded with the latte art world champion in 2019. And I also am design advisor for some companies. And also member of Bu Zhi DAO. Today's takeaways, a few things. You will learn a little bit about my design process and for this crypto conference on Taipei Blockchain Week. And I'll also give some tips on how to come up with ideas and make design decisions, especially for non-designers. And then we will leave some time at the end for Q&A. Okay, before we start, all the projects are different. They are all unique in its own way, and there's no one size fits all. And this is just one of the ways to design, and especially for this conference. And this project took about 2 weeks from start to finish. So just keep that in mind. I have a 3-phase design process, and it's the first phase is research. Research is about building my confidence, like through learning and playing. So learning about the subject matter, about the style and this conference, and playing is more like getting my hands dirty, like I play with ideas and visuals and stuff. And the second phase is refining, consolidating and refining my favorite ideas. At the end, like all the end results, the final designs mostly happen in this phase. And lastly is the packaging phase, where we put everything together to tell a story, to share with others. Okay, the first phase is research. Usually start by learning about the subject. So in this case, Taipei Blockchain Week and Bu Zhi DAO. And I'll understand a little bit more about the vision, the mission, and the theme. Shout out to Tiffany, the lead for Taipei Blockchain Week. She came up with a brief how the conference should feel and the vibe of it. You see these words that I highlighted. I just ask myself, does it feel cohesive? Does it make sense? Is there anything really odd? Because branding is essentially just creating a vibe through multiple touch points. People won't necessarily remember all the stuff that happened during the conference. I will definitely remember how it made them feel. So welcoming bright colors, hugs, smile, comfortable, something soft, and forward thinking, advancing Taiwan's Web3 ecosystem and culture, fun toys, professional, clean layouts, and typography. When I see these keywords, I kind of just let it run on the back of my head. After I've learned about the conference, the idea, the DAO, I will look at what others have done before. And during this process, I'll just try to imagine and visualize the end result. There are 3 things during this process. One is know the bar. So learn what's out there and how others have done it. So usually what I do is I look outside the subject field. So I look outside blockchain, look outside crypto, and I'll look for a similar vibe that we wanted to create for this conference. At the end, we should be able to grasp the initial idea. It's like saying, okay, I'm going to play with colors and make colors an important part of this brand and design. Okay, so know the bar. So you can see on the right, I kind of lay out many other crypto related conferences or summits, their websites, just to get an overall look and feel and the vibe. The goal of this is basically 3 things. So we know what's expected. So we know what others have experienced or what others have seen before. And then second is now we know how to stand out, and we can use this as a benchmark, do something better. So what I look at is the logo, the colors, how they treat images, and I'll look at their different social channels, see how their visual language translate the second part, the part that where I most enjoyed collecting inspirations. So like I mentioned before, I look outside the subject field and I look for a similar vibe that's in a different sector. I usually like highly recommend people, especially non-designers, to look at professional and agency work instead of like inspiration from like Behance or Dribble, so you don't pick up bad habits. You can also try revisit the brands you love, because I find that it sometimes inspires me to see the brands I love, like they kind of like evolve. This part is supposed to be just enjoyable and just like go to different websites and see different work. And it's like walking into your favorite shop and you're shopping for ideas. At the end, you will find something that you drawn towards. So here's, for example, for me, like I feel the colors would be something important for this project. It can also be other things like I want to play more with calligraphy, or I want to play more with photography. After I've learned what others have done, I'll start playing. I'll start getting my hands dirty. First, I usually start with typography, like setting typefaces and fonts. I usually just like type out like as many typefaces. If I see something I like, I'll keep it. And if I don't like, I just delete it and I'll try like uppercase, lowercase. Everyone is probably familiar with my fonts and Google Fonts, but Typewolf and Fonts in Use is also very good tools. So Typewolf will show you what's trending in type, and also you can just basically like Google the fonts, and it will give you like the background, the designer, like all this information on those type, like what it was designed for. And then Fonts in Use, you will see brands like using how they are using different fonts in real life. Like that's very important. Here's a few things. So what does the typeface say? Are you creating like a modern brand, or is it like a wholesome brand? That doesn't match the vibe, brand personality. Like, and what's the main application? Like, is it for an app? Is it for an ice cream store? Also look at those text as forms and shapes. Are there any features that stood out to you? Does it inspire you to rearrange or like modify or adjust them in a certain way? I ended up picking Rubik. The typeface that features like rounded corners if you look closely. And it's very subtle, but it sends a signal that it's like very welcoming and it's very warm. And the typeface is very accessible, very important for like a DAO, I guess, because like all the DAO members have access to this free fonts online. And it's versatile. It has like many weights and italics. Usually when I have something like this, I will feel comfortable about the future. So I'll just like leave it here for a couple of days or a few days before I come back and move forward. And the phase 2 is about refining, consolidating, pushing, and refining my favorite ideas. So after I came back, I'll look at this and see if I still feel good about it, or if I need to revisit and pick another typeface to play with it. I feel good about it, so I move forward. The next step is usually creating like a logo mark or an icon. Like I mentioned before, you can try to see these text or these letters as forms and shapes. So due to the nature of like the W being like wider than the T and the B, stacking them is like Lego blocks to convey the ideas of building and creativity and inspiration. Notice when I'm dealing with type and logo mark, I don't use any color. From experience, if a logo, it doesn't work in black and white, it's probably not gonna end well in color. At this stage, I'll just keep everything in black and white. After we have our logo, we can start introducing color and creating the vibe. The goal of the color is to help take the brand to the next level. So it needs to reinforce the vibe and the idea that we wanted to communicate. So it's like welcoming, comfortable, fun, creative, professional. It's also important to make it even more identifiable and stand out. You imagine like banners on the street and stuff. And there's also like other conferences or the competitors if you are designing for consumer brand or the startup. Here are some tips for you to come up with a strong color palette. So try to limit your choices. Like if you can communicate and design with one color, like don't use two colors. Easier to start with colors that I have seen being used by other professionals or other designers. And I'll just like play with the tone and shades. and to get closer to my idea, my project. Start imagining these colors in your head. Here's the color I picked for Taipei Blockchain Week. I ended up with the red, yellow, and blue primary colors, which are often used in picture books and children's toys. I think it just kind of fits well with the idea that we are Web3 is early stage and it's very young, conveys a welcoming feeling. So because it's for kids, right? So it's welcoming, it's warm, and so that's good for anyone that wants to join the space. And some reference to show you that children's stuff have used those primary color and bright colors. I kind of like just tone it down a little bit to be try to be like more sophisticated. So it's more professional rather than just like pure direct like toys and fun. Use your typeface to set those words that you have since the beginning and to see how it feels. Okay, to take the brand to the next level. So now we have the logo, we have the type, we have the color. We try to design a visual language that can tell a better story through different channels. The shapes are what we are using here. So the shapes also needs to reinforce the idea and the vibe, and also to help the brand to be even more identifiable and stand out. Okay, so when I think of shapes, I start from the name. Like, okay, it's Taipei Blockchain Week. It's based in Taipei and Taiwan. Maybe like the shapes of the buildings in Taiwan, those traditional buildings, or like the Taipei 101, food, boba, these kind of things. And then eventually I came to maps. And then I look at maps and I look at Taipei city maps. That's what I end up with. The Taipei city districts. I turned this district into like these abstract shapes. They can be used as a device to like represent people and community from different parts of the world and bring knowledge and inspiration like to Taipei City. And here I show how we can use these shapes. And then we have our key visual. So from type, the logo, and the color, the shapes, and then we are putting everything together. And it's always good to go back to compare what you have done and with what's out there. I think it's a good habit. So you know where you're coming from and what you went through, and if you are happy with the result. When I have basically done the overall design, the key visual, I will give myself some rest, come back again in a few days, start on phase 3 packaging. So packaging is essentially putting everything together to tell a story. Designer often, sometimes like we just work within a team or by ourselves. Other non-designers haven't been through like what you just went through and all your design process. Like that's all in your head. Nobody else knows. So it's important to like put it in a way for other people to understand. So here I'll just showcase the brand book that I did for Taipei Blockchain Week. Oh yeah, and this, because the conference this year and O2 is Taipei's area code. So I just did this to make it more fun. And again, the brand book will start with some background and the theme and also the vibe to set the tone. And then we will showcase like the logo, the inspiration for the variations so people can better imagine how the logo will play out. More variations, and then typography. You see you show the main typeface that we will use for the conference, and then the colors. So when you design the brand book, you try to be on brand as well. So you don't simply just type out words and say this color is blah blah blah. So you try to be fun. And then shapes, other shapes again, and how to use them. So people can better adapt to the system. Then show key visuals. Design for a conference. Like a conference consists of many moving parts. Like there's physical stuff, there's digital stuff. So there's website, there's like merch and tickets and banners, many things. I wanted to showcase that the branding can work across all mediums, like how the designs can will be applied to different things. And it's very important to show it that the design can be applied like in real life. It's the brand book. Lastly, I just wanted to because this is my first DAO contribution, this brand design. I want to shout out to Tiffany, Jackie, and Cindy for helping me through this process. Also, thanks Jesse for helping me host this workshop. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Does anybody have questions? This was so amazing to see how you kind of put together this whole thing. I had no idea that there's just so much thought. So it's super interesting to hear.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, those couple weeks.
Yeah. I feel like the attention to detail especially is pretty crazy. Like even the font, the corners, how that makes people feel, the vibe, how that all connects back to the typeface. There's so much that all the little details you have thought through, and like you're saying, like it's hard for people to look at the final brand book and know how much you have thought through. So, but I have a question on so when you do these designs, right, you have a lot of different things you look for inspiration.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's there's so many different, like the children's books, that kind of stuff, all that different stuff. Are you constantly looking at different stuff for inspiration? Because it's sometimes hard to find that connection on the job, right? When you have a task, but you normally have to be always looking at.
Well, it's kind of like eventually it becomes like a habit. Like you look at things and you are aware that, this can be like cool for something else. So it's very important, like to keep things like, I don't know, bookmarked. Like if you see the thing, it's good for something, you bookmark for it. Like I have hundreds of like design studio and like agency, like those references bookmarked.
Is there a way you organize your inspiration bookmark? Like Pinterest has these like boards, right, of different tags.
Yeah, I sometimes I use Pinterest, but I don't like, I just use it's like a one-off thing. I don't keep like all of my boards like very organized and clean. But I have 4 folders of my favorite design studios and agencies. I think I spend most of my time like looking at people who are more professional rather than, I don't know, individual creatives for me.
Andy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you've like looked through so many different designs and so many different conferences, like what do you think the trend is going with, conference design and what people are doing worldwide?
Well, I think in general, the design in Web3, when I learn about Web3 and crypto, I see so many websites that like so well designed. Like I was so surprised. Like it's all the designs are mostly, I've seen it's better than many Web2 brands or platforms or whatever. But crypto conference sites are still kind of, I guess it's because like it's more like a campaign kind of thing. So it's more like a one-off thing. So that's like, I feel like the crypto conference designs are lagging behind the actual Web3 projects. For some, you can tell they put more work into it. For example, I think I feel like NYC did a better job than others. Right now, you can't really say this a trend because they just pick these conferences are just not. I feel like they are not putting enough like design into it. Yeah.
I also noticed that I felt when a lot of people design crypto stuff, they take a lot of crypto references, like the pixel, and then those like a lot of these obvious trends that people are using in crypto. And I feel like maybe you made a conscious decision to like, okay, I don't want to be the same as the rest of the, I guess, trend. So that's really interesting. Did that cross your mind in your head? Like, oh, how can I be, crypto, but also same time, because it's kind of like it's not as friendly and welcoming, right? Like, is there a contradiction?
Yeah, I feel like the vibe that Bu Zhi DAO has actually pushed me through it. Like Bu Zhi DAO is trying to be like more inclusive, and the vibe is like super friendly here, and it's like very inviting, welcoming. Like I feel like it's very authentic, and that's why I don't wanted to like to create something that fits into the crypto mode, create something different. Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry. First of all, I want to say like your design is super, super cool and unique. Like when you put it next to all the other blockchain websites, blockchain events website, it really stood out. I was like very impressed. Unrelated questions. I want to ask about like your involvement with like a digital fashion. Like, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So OX Avenue is a fashion Web3 fashion platform. So this I co-founded with two of my friends and partners, and we founded to help individual artists and projects and collections to kind of like design, fabricate, and sell physical gears or eventually digital gears to their fans. We make physical garments, and later on we'll probably incorporate like technology with like NFCs and NFTs. These take into these garments, and our garments is like premium because we feel like for artists and collections, like you pay a lot of money for this art, and you want something that's a good fit. Like it's like a good frame for if you have a Picasso, one side of the physical digital gears. So combining physical garments with the digital experience or the blockchain technology. And then there's also we have a platform actually that's coming online in September, where we invite artists and collection and projects to come to our OX Avenue and set up shop. If you make garments with us and then you want to sell your merch or your clothes online, like you come to us, there's no upfront cost for you.
Do you do the design for people as well? Like for the like fashion and stuff?
Yeah. So we design our everything that's related to OX Avenue and our partners. Yeah, so we design the clothes and the garment itself, the graphic, etc.
I see. That's super cool. Thank you.
Okay, this is on a tangent, but your personal branding, why is it xHood? And why just PFP?
Since college, I've been wearing like a hoodie most of the time, like most days. So I just feel like very comfortable in hoodies, especially during winter. Like it's just me. Like how people know me is like a black hoodie, and xHood just sounded cool. And the PFP, I have to find an avatar with a hoodie that I like. And this artist I love, like Buck Render. Oh, I don't know if I can say his name on but like I love this artist, and this is his work, and I find it like it resonate with me a lot.
I guess one last question for me, Andy. Like now that we have like a design and then you have visuals for packaging, like going towards the event production side of like making the vibe, how does a designer kind of relay that feeling or Web3 vibe into, let's say, a production or a actual event?
Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be quite interesting because we'll be working with a production company for the conference. So we'll look through the lens of mobile phones like Instagram or like Facebook, and like how people like take photos and take videos to share online. Depends on how much resource we have. Like we will make a conscious decision on putting more branded stuff in certain places to make sure we can keep the conference more of an immersive kind of experience, so people can feel immersed in this conference. I think that's it.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All 100 of us. You've got friends here.
你知不知道？你在不在？
我不知道。